So, what is going on? This is your boy Town Biz. First of all, great night boxing last night. It was going down in Las Vegas. Great show. I'm going to talk about the card in another video. Shout out to Team Norman. Shout out to McKay and Mayer. And shout out to some of the people that was just there, as spectators. So shout out to Gabriel Flores Jr. But the news broke yesterday that Ryan Garcia is back to working with Derek James. Whatever. But you know what I find very interesting, and I'm gonna particularly talk about this. I remember, the super militant fake pro black Errol Spence fans, were just trying to make it look like Errol Spence was, the second coming of Martin Luther King, because this whole Terrence Crawford Errol Spence thing was basically, it was shameful to a certain degree, where you had these so-called pro-black dudes attacking Terrence Crawford as a man, attacking his character, calling him top-ranked Toby, calling him all kind of stuff, calling him a coon, calling him a house nigga, all this kind of stuff. But then, just like their Harry Houdini, nowhere to be found, when it pertained to Ryan Garcia working with Derek James, after all the stuff that Ryan Garcia said, they ain't nowhere to be found, but yet they want to sit up here and make videos about Terrence Crawford saying that Spence isn't a Hall of Famer. They want to cry about that. And that's one of the particular reasons why I started to distance myself from certain people when this whole Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence thing was going on. When you had people sitting up here trying to question your blackness. But then once again, when, one of Errol Spence's biggest supporters, Jerry Jones, when that picture surfaced of him being at a Jim Crow rally, these dudes were nowhere to be found. Nowhere to be found. But they had the audacity to be talking about what was going on with Terrence Crawford and Bob Arum. They were always character assassinating Terrence Crawford. And then when the situation came out about, Derek James and Errol Spence parted ways, and allegedly Derek James accused of Errol Spence shortening him on money. Where was these pro-black Negroes at then? Nowhere to be found. So that's what I meant by the inconsistent blackness. And, and then along the way, before the fight even took place, you had people having an attitude like chicks because you were talking to Terrence Crawford, talking to his team, doing interviews with, and you didn't want to become a PBC extremist or an Al Heyman extremist or Errol Spence extremist. So people were questioning your blackness. But I say to them, fuck y'all. Real talk. So where y'all at now? Then a few years later, 2 years later, a year and some change later, you had the situation with Ryan Garcia working with Derek James. And Ryan Garcia, so we thought, defeated Devin Haney, but come to find out he is nothing but a steroid cheat. And people have been trying to downplay it. Then Ryan Garcia goes on a racist terrorist threat rant, saying that he hated black people and he would dig up George Floyd's grave and delete him again. And then you had people playing along the lines of being quiet, not wanting to call Ryan Garcia out, not wanting to call Derek James out for not calling out Ryan Garcia. But here we are again. Derek James is back to working with Ryan Garcia, and nobody is making videos calling him out. Let Terrence Crawford had did something. So, but at the end of the day, Derek James can work with whoever he wants to, but he looking real weak right about now. He looking as he'll do anything for money. All money ain't good money. And then to a certain degree, it looked like Ryan Garcia punked a lot of these fighters. You a lot of these dudes downplayed what Ryan Garcia said, but they're just so enraged by Devin Haney filing a lawsuit against Ryan Garcia. Just so they're just so, you know what I'm saying? So enraged. But they not mad about what Ryan Garcia said. And then you had some of these these people posing for pics with Ryan Garcia, taking pictures with that cornball. If Ryan Garcia asked to take a picture with me and I'm a boxer, I would give him the finger and I would smush face him. There ain't no coming back from that. But then again, like I said, black people, I tell you, what disappoints me, black people got all the smoke for people that look like them. But when it comes to these non-blacks, everybody just want to dismiss it. Everybody want to forgive Ryan Garcia, but everybody is just so disgusted with Devin Haney suing Ryan Garcia for cheating him. Everybody has downplayed what Ryan Garcia did, trying to come up with these explanations about, oh, well, it wouldn't have made a difference in the fight because of the amount that, listen, if you buying that, then something is seriously wrong with you. But, coons going to be coons. Uncle Tom's going to be Uncle Tom's. House niggas going to be house niggas. I'm just different from everybody else, and I like it that way. And I prefer to be that way because I march to the beat of my own drum. Always have, always will. So like I said, so when some goofball was getting in his feelings, whatever the case may be, having an attitude towards me for no reason, that was on him. That was on a few people that had an attitude towards me because I didn't want to be an Errol Spencer stream. At the end of the day, you didn't do shit when you saw me. And you ain't going to do shit if you see me again. So I'm just keeping it a buck. These things have to be said. I'm not going to sit up here and ignore this stuff. And people can sit up here and say, y'all need to quit crying. And most of these people are sellouts or they're Hispanic, primarily Mexican. You sure you want to go that route with me? Because I can get real nasty. Try me. Like I said before, you had people that was outraged about Devin Haney saying, I can't see myself or I won't lose to a white boy. Just outraged, horrified. Like Devin Haney said what Ryan Garcia said. But then Ryan Garcia says what he said, and people trying to downplay, oh, Ryan Garcia was on drugs or he was just joking. You don't joke like that. He meant it. He meant it. And it was funny. I saw Steve Kim, yesterday, and I had a conversation with Steve Kim, and he said, how Steve Kim sort of likes to overstep his boundaries sometimes because he think he can just speak on our community because he is in line with that, that Sambo Jason Whitlock. But he walked it back. I didn't let him get too disrespectful, but I understood what he was saying. He was saying, I don't understand how Devin Haney is being ridiculed and treated like like he's the villain when Ryan Garcia cheated against him. And that came out of, he said, I don't get it. He said, I don't get it. He said, I don't understand. So, and we spoke about it and we spoke on some other stuff, So it's funny that even he understands what's going on. But what it is, a lot of people are against Devin Haney. A lot of people are jealous of Devin Haney. A lot of these black boxers because Devin Haney had a father present in his life. Listen, dude. Listen, I'm not finna play these games with you. You already know what Ryan Garcia tested positive for. Don't come on here trolling. I will run your ass off my channel. Okay? So don't come on here playing, dude. First and only warning. And, like I said before, Ryan Garcia failed 3 drug tests. He failed a New York State Athletic Commission drug test. Ryan Garcia could have had a full-fledged hearing. He elected to take the suspension and take the fine. So obviously he was guilty of something. And then you got these people that turned on Devin Haney um, for whatever reason. And then you had a lot of people sitting up hanging around Ryan Garcia that are black, house niggas like John Jones and Quentin Rampage Jackson. And I'd say it to his face, Quentin Rampage Jackson, a steroid cheat himself, who tried to play stupid, or maybe he is stupid, and try to act as if he accidentally took testosterone, knowing that that's a banned substance. And then on the same token, Rampage was sitting up there complaining about other fighters using PEDs as potential opponents that may fight him. What a fucking hypocrite. What a goofball. What a goofball. And he's yet to respond to me saying, "Hey, I did my research. You're a drug cheat." I went directly to that dude's Instagram. And then he says he don't care about Ryan Garcia being a racist. So if you wonder why black men are the least respected group of men on this planet, is because of dudes like Quentin Rampage Jackson. A lot of these dudes that set up there gave him a pass for what he said. It ain't no coming back from that. And then I heard Marcos from Fight Hype took down the interview he did with Carissa Shields, where Carissa Shields called Ryan Garcia out on his racism and how he said that foul stuff he said about her father. He accused her father of basically molesting her and sexually abusing her. And people are okay with that. But like I said, these people were outraged about Devin Haney saying he won't lose to a white boy. And then at the end of the day, why did the Mexicans get involved? Why did this didn't have nothing to do with them. Oh, I know why. Because a lot of y'all consider y'allself white. Even the ones that have African roots in their DNA. You want to dilute it. You want to dismiss this because you want to be considered white. So that's why he was practicing, grooming yourself in to try to pass off as white. So now I understand. Now I get it. But keep playing these games. Keep playing these games. So now you have Derrick James. Derrick James just looking real bad right about now. He just showing that he don't got no integrity. He never called Ryan Garcia out on what he said. And a lot of people ignored it. There were people that act as if Ryan Garcia never said what he said. It is easy to find what he said. And then the thing is, you get people trying to shame black people for having an issue with that. Like, listen, all that stuff about talking about here we go with the victimhood stuff. Like, man, shut the fuck up. I can say whatever I want to say. With it being black, that's my right. Who cares what a non-black think? Who cares what a white person think? That stuff don't work on me. You think I'll go to bed worried about what some non-black think? At the end of the day, when you make excuses for Ryan Garcia, it's because you think like Ryan Garcia. You're on the lines of Ryan Garcia's racism. And the thing is, Ryan Garcia think he owned the black community because y'all gave him a complete pass and y'all are weak. Y'all sat up there and ignored what Ryan Garcia did. And the biggest, handkerchiefs heads out there, they got rewarded. Like that coke sniffing Garfield the cat nigga with his fake ass. Talked about, well, what Ryan Garcia said didn't affect. When I hear black people talk like that, man, they showing me that they weak. They showing me that they a coward. They showing me that they cowardly. They showing me that they're weak. But then this was the same dude that, Devin Haney attacks a Mexican kid at an amusement park. But then you want to say this isn't about race. And it was a few people playing that game, but you can't fool me. I know exactly what you dudes be doing. And I said it before, and I will say to all these people coming on here saying, hey, they could help me boost my numbers and get multiple subscribers. And no, I don't need a channel advisor because I'm not going to compromise myself for likes, views, and money. I will earn my views, my subscribers the right way by telling my truth and what I believe in, standing on my business, having integrity and having pride, not only being a man but being a black man. So, I'm not going to looking real weak right now. And then I'm just seeing the hypocrisy of these fake pro-black niggas that was trying to play that with Terrence Crawford. Now y'all ain't nowhere. Now y'all niggas ain't nowhere to be found. Where y'all at? Why ain't y'all why ain't y'all pushing the record button? Why ain't y'all pushing the record button talking about how weak Derrick James looking? Because y'all fake. I get it. Trust me, I get it. You showed your hand. You showed who you are. And you showed that you ain't shit. Y'all thought I wasn't gonna talk about this? Yeah, that's Derrick James. He went back to working with Ryan Garcia. He didn't say nothing when Ryan Garcia said all that racist stuff he said, but he went back to working with Ryan Garcia according to reports. So Derrick James don't have no integrity about himself. He don't have no morals. But he never said nothing anyway. So doesn't surprise me. Doesn't surprise me. And now, hey, now all the power to the people, super militant niggas, they ain't nowhere to be found. Where's all that Derrick James, man? He a coon, man. He a coon. He is. He is coon and working with Ryan Garcia. He didn't say nothing when all that racist stuff that Ryan Garcia said came out. This man made actual terrorist threats on social media. He should have been banned from every social media outlet there is. He made flat out terrorist threats. But yet I seen that they took Harvey's channel down because he made a comment which wasn't really that bad towards a certain group of people. But they took him off of YouTube. But Ryan Garcia got to keep every social media platform that he owned. And he made flat out terrorist threats towards black people. Go figure. So there you have it. Me coming from Oakland. Listen, I'm not anti no other ethnic group, but at the same time, I'm proud to be black. But if another ethnic group attack my people, black people, yeah, it's gonna be some problems. Now, how I respond is really up to you. Now, if you say something nasty about black people, of course I'm gonna say something nasty about your people, and I don't want to hear that shit about you don't fight racism with racism. Okay, once again, that's only aimed towards black people. And when I hear black people talk like that, they show me that they're gutless cowards. I dish it out how it was dished out to me. One thing about me, I'm cool, but then I could get to a point where I'm not cool. At the end of the day, respect goes a long way. There are just some things you need to keep to yourself. But when Ryan Garcia said that stuff, and people tried to downplay it, but then these people were just horrified at Devin Haney saying, "Oh, I can't see myself losing to a white boy." But then Sergey Kovalov said racist stuff. He said racist stuff. Eddie Hearn's father said racist stuff. You didn't had media outlets where people said racist stuff. Michelle Beadle used the N-word. But y'all never have smoke for y'all have no smoke for them. Jerry Jones was caught at the Jim Crow rally. But y'all ain't got nothing to say about that. Well, you know, when somebody says something about us, they always say we overreacting. Oh, you guys are overreacting. Oh, you're being too sensitive. But like I said, oh, I can't believe Devin Haney said he would never lose to a white boy. That's the most horrible thing. Hey, Alan Mentor said when he fought Marvin Hagler, he said I'll never lose to a black boy. That was in the 70s. Like I said, Sergey Kovalov just said racist stuff. He did, you know, and he got a complete pass. Abel Sanchez said what might have been called racially insensitive. Oh, nobody really wants to pay to see black fighter, which that's a lie. You know, it's funny. Everybody expect black people when we get disrespected to sit up there and just take it. But then again, that's because people think the women are the leaders in our race, and they're not. And this isn't no shot at black women, but at the end of the day, you make a case for them being the leaders because a lot of these black dudes don't have no backbone. My thing is, fuck Ryan Garcia forever. Like I said before, there are people in boxing that I won't ever do an interview with. And that's just real talk. Ryan Garcia is somebody I would never do an interview with him. I don't want to talk to him. There is nothing for me and him to talk about. And so what? He offered a fake ass apology after almost a year. That watered down apology. Oh, I was off shrooms, and like it's always the alcohol. It's always the drugs. I don't have kids. I have a kid. Wrong guy. Yeah. When you off drugs, that's when you tell how you really feel. When you off drugs, when you off alcohol, that's when the truth come out. So when Ryan Garcia was off whatever he was on, he told the truth how he really feel about black people. And then black people come around him. And don't you remember what his father said? His father made the nappy head remark when Bill Haney said, "Hey man, you wearing a toupee." So he went from talking about a toupee to talking about black people having nappy hair. Black people have toupees. Toupees is not designated for one specific group. Black men have toupees, white men, none black men. So why did you have to bring up the nappy hair reference? Come on, man. I'll just keep it in a buck. Everybody got every ethnic group wear a hair piece if they need one. You know, black men have products like if they're spotting in certain places that can cover up the bald spot. So how did that translate from talking about you having a hair piece to you having nappy hair? So Ryan gets that from his parents. So probably when Ryan and his father are within the comforts of their own home, they be calling black people out their day, calling them the N word and all that kind of stuff. Just because Ryan got black security, and look at it this way. Well, that black security is Ryan Garcia's sacrificial lambs. So if somebody really get it, Ryan Garcia and want to get at him, well, if they have to go through his security, well, those will be two black dudes that'll be minus their lives or get hurt. So why don't he hire security that look just like him? He basically sacrificing them, if you look at it that way. But then they still working with him. I would never take Ryan Garcia's money. That's what I find funny. Teofimo Lopez, he tries to disrespect black people with his goofy ass, but then he tries to emulate black people. My thing is, if you can't stand us or you don't respect us, why are you trying to emulate us? Why you try to dress like us? Why you try to talk like us? For real. Why you try to emulate and piggyback off our culture? Why you try to exploit our culture? Make that make sense. Help me explain that. Somebody give me an explanation, but you don't respect black people. And then you'll get black people that'll defend Teofimo Lopez and all this kind of stuff. And yeah, that's cool. And I just said this again. I'm good at returning fire. Anybody that knows me, when I return fire, yeah, it's a towering inferno. So I'm just saying. I'm just saying this need to be said. Where these dudes at? Yeah, that's hilarious too. Like when I was on the way to the airport to come back home from Las Vegas, this lady picked me up. She wasn't black neither. I don't know what she was. She might have been Hispanic or whatever. She might have been white, but she was playing Young Thug. She was playing, I forgot who else. And we had a brief conversation. She familiar with the Bay Area because I told her I was from Oakland, and she was talking about Filthy Rich. And she was saying one of her friends buying is a employee of Filthy Rich. So, as an employee is so, you know, but I'm just saying. And she told me that she used to be a exotic dancer. And it was funny when I was getting out the car. I guess she thought I was go continue the conversation. I guess she thought I was fitted like speed. I was like, nah, I gotta get up out of here. So, but that's what I'm saying. I guarantee you this much. Even when I was doing Lyft, I wasn't doing Lyft. When I was doing Uber and I played music, I played my music. If you didn't want to listen to my music, you didn't want to listen to quote unquote black music, R&B, hip hop, and I'll play whatever I wanted to play too. So I'm just saying, she was playing quote unquote our music. And the funny thing is, the so-called elements of where our music is played, you'll see them wanting to come be around us, go to the clubs where they play our music, but then go to a Spanish club, go to a Mexican club that play Mexican music, and some black people walk in there. They're gonna be looking like they want to fight you. Well, CJ Rich, hey, cool. So if it really get to the point to where somebody really try to get at Ryan Garcia and they have to go through them to get to Ryan Garcia, well, they'll have a lot to think about if they survive. So that, hey, now these dudes have awareness. They just don't care. It ain't always about the bag. If I'm Derrick James, I would never take Ryan Garcia's racist money. Listen. It isn't real talk. Everybody is allowed one or two mistakes, but then there's some things that is an instant three strikes. I'm not gonna get extremely mad if you make a fried chicken joke or a Robitussin joke or something like that. That ain't that. I ain't gonna be sensitive to that point. But there is a cutoff switch where you got to be like, all right, enough is enough. But when you just take something to saying that you want to kill a whole group of people, nah, nah. When you take it there, when you make full-fledged terrorist threats, nah, you can't get past that. You can't overlook that because now you didn't overstep your boundaries. And the funny thing was, a lot of Mexicans wasn't even supporting Ryan Garcia until he won the fight. A lot of them thought that Ryan Garcia was going to lose that fight, which Ryan Garcia, he did catch Devin with a hook. Devin knees was gone, and Devin was still able to fight. And the sad part about it was Ryan was off them roids, and he still couldn't knock Devin out. Devin kept getting up, and Ryan was getting outboxed. So I think in the rematch, Devin will make some adjustments. He won't let his pride get the best of him, and I think Devin will get past Ryan Garcia. But at the same time, the way people, if I'm Devin Haney, I'd be looking at the black community hella funny. I'd be like, man, the hell with the black community. We, the people that had Devin Haney's back, we got we got frowned upon. And like I said, if Marcos took that interview down with Clarissa Shields, where she went in on Ryan Garcia for being a cheater and what he said about, and that's another thing. Ryan Garcia said that Clarissa Shields' father like violated her. Once again, overstepping his boundary lines. Ryan Garcia, for all we know, he might be the one that got violated. Well, at the end of the day, I'll talk to Bill when this rematch happens. When this rematch happens, I'm gonna tell Bill, like I told him the last time, stop getting carried away with some of the stuff that's said about you on social media. Like I said, I done told Bill. Bill is my homie, but like, man, Bill, you be sitting up arguing with these cornballs on social media and stuff. You giving these dudes too much attention. You giving them too much juice. At the end of the day, go in there and do what you know for doing. Okay. Devin would have beat Ryan soundly if he would have went in there and just boxed Ryan Garcia. Devin was determined to knock Ryan Garcia out, and he got a little reckless and he ended up getting caught, but he still was able to outbox Ryan Garcia for most of the fight. The knockdowns is the only thing that caused him to lose that fight, because had he not got knocked down 3 times, he would have still been able to win that fight because he was outboxing Ryan Garcia. So, with that being said, Devin just got to be Devin. A lot of times, and particularly with black fighters, they have to stop listening to everything that's said about them on social media. Oh, you guys can't crack an egg. You don't have no power. You don't have this. You don't have that. Well, at the end of the day, I may not have no power, but that's cool. I'm going to keep punching this dude. That's okay. I'm going to keep punching this dude in his face for 12 rounds. What's worse? Getting thoroughly dominated or getting knocked out with one punch, where you get beat up for 12 rounds, where you lose 11 rounds to 1. Where at least if you get knocked out, it could be like, okay, he caught me with a lucky shot or something. So at the end of the day, they got caught up in that stuff. And I'm honest enough to tell them that, and I told Bill that. When you a black fighter, and this is just real talk, you have to ignore certain things that's said. If you a black fighter, you can't win for losing. If you're knocking out people, you're dominating, oh, you ain't fought nobody. You ain't fought nobody. You ain't did this, you ain't did that. But if a Mexican fighter, win, lose, or draw, he get called a warrior. He get called a warrior. And if a black dude have a competitive fight, a close fight, where it might go in favor of the black dude, and it's a close fight, they'll say it's a robbery, he overrated. It's every excuse in the book not to give him his props. Oh, boxing is corrupt, and all that kind of stuff. But yet we just see the clear-cut robbery last week with Goucher and Garcia. But nobody's was the one that got robbed. That fight wasn't even close. So people change the narrative with the win, or they change the narrative if it not in favor of the non-black fighter. The excuses get made. So, I'm used to this stuff. I'm used to this double standard shit because I've been covering boxing for a long time. I'm a, you know what I'm saying? I'm a credentialed media member. So I know what goes on behind the scenes going into a fight, pre-fight, post-fight. You know what I'm saying? So I know some of the politics, or should I say politics. So I didn't learn a lot. And the problem that I have, these dudes should be calling Ryan Garcia out. They should have been calling him out. And, you know, and as far as, Derek James go, Derek James is a lame. He went out like a sucker. But you know what? If he wanted to take Ryan Garcia's racist money, that's on him. But anyway, appreciate you guys being here. I gotta call it a night. I gotta go to work. So appreciate you guys. We will continue this conversation.